Well, we're getting fuel in the combine. That should be just about full here now. And what you're going to see in this video is a field that I ended up combining here yesterday. So this is probably going to be my last video for YouTube. I've been putting a lot of time into these videos, and it seems to be here lately that my videos just don't get the views that they should be getting. And with the amount of time that I put in them, it just doesn't seem like it's worth it anymore. To continue with YouTube, I would ask that you leave a thumbs up. I haven't been asking for that. Maybe that's what my problem here is with the whole viewership, whatever, on these videos. But if you actually like the video, just reach over and hit that thumbs up button, and also share these videos on any platform you can think of, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, I guess. Do that kind of stuff, and maybe it will uptick the whole algorithm thing, however that works, and maybe they'll start to put my videos a little higher up in the view ranking or whatever. So with that being said, folks, I do want to thank you in advance for watching, and enjoy the rest of the video. Alright, folks, so I was combining this field the other day, and this is the field the combine broke down in, and then we got a pretty good storm here, rain, wind, everything else. So we've got some corn that's down, and it's a little dusty. It's got some northern corn leaf blight in it or something. And this is the field that I have Trump 2020 planted into. So we're just coming down through my second pass, down through the middle of this one strip here. And I did a video on this field when I planted it back in the spring. Oh, in the description of the video, I'll link the video that I did back when I planted this field here. But our planter has independent row shutoffs for each and every row. And what that means is when the planter comes into ground that it has already planted, it'll shut that row off and turn it back on again once it gets into ground that has not been planted yet. What I did was I turned off 4 rows on each side of a 16-row planter. Therefore, it left 8 rows planting in the middle of the planter. Then what I did was I turned the vacuum motors off, and the planter thought it was planting. I drove the tractor and the planter and made every letter by driving the tractor and the planter with the planter down where it says Trump 2020. Then when I continued planting the rest of the field here, the planter shut off as it entered the areas where there's no corn planting. So right where I am now with the combine, we've got straight rows, you know, running north and south, and then you can see that the Trump 2020 is on a little bit of an angle. And what I ended up doing is I drove the planter right at the top of the letters where it says Trump and the bottom, so that I knew where to start and stop my letters from. And then what I did was I ended up angling the rest of the rows so that it wasn't running in the same direction as the rest of the field here. This field, or this area where it says Trump 2020, is right next to Route 81. Now, although it's close to 81, the tree line is kind of thick right there, and you can't quite see it from 81. I don't know if anybody was able to see it from the sky or not, but it is what it is. And the other thing I worried about was I worried about vandals getting into it and making a mess out of it, just because some people don't like Trump. We've got a fence right there, right alongside 81, and then this is 3/4 of a mile or so off of this back road here. These letters are 80 foot tall and they're 80 foot wide, and the spot where it doesn't have any corn planted is 20 foot wide. I could have done this a couple of different ways. I could have done this on the computer and essentially made interior boundaries, and it would have done the same thing, and it would have looked a lot neater. I ended up putting little markers out in the field between the letters so that I knew where to get my letter spacing set, and I also had the drone up in the air so that I could kind of see where I was, and then the planter planting on the computer screen in the tractor kind of helped things a little bit too. But doing this kind of drawing with driving the tractor and an implement hooked to it, it's almost like trying to write your name with a wide highlighter pen. It's kind of tricky. The 2s and the 0s were probably the hardest letters and numbers to make, just because the tractor really don't turn that tight, and I had to, run the number, the 0, so far, and then I had to pick up and come back and try to connect where I left off. And you've got, well, there's a little bit of jerkiness there where like the P came into the M. That just has to do with running the planter too far and not really knowing where my letters started and stopped from, because you got tire tracks that you're trying to gauge around, and then I've got 16 rows in the ground, and the planter is 40 feet wide when I'm only making a 20 foot wide letter and number, if you will. Okay, folks, so all kidding aside, I don't know if anybody has quite noticed this, but the corn where it says Trump 2020 is standing a lot better than the rest of this field. If you notice, we're in by the combine, and I didn't happen to notice this until I got out in it. I just cut some lines, above Trump, between Trump 2020 and below 2020. The corn is standing perfectly fine. However, I've been battling down corn in the rest of this field all day. You notice this little strip between the combine and this little patch of trees over here. This is a wet spot of the field, that rectangular strip right there. So we're going to try to get this drone down closer to the ground here. I am about out of battery. You can see how well the corn is standing. Like I said, there's not any spots where it's laying down at all. You come over here, this narrow strip in between this wet hole here. See the corn? It's down. I wonder why that is. where the corn is, where it says Trump 2020. You can't make this stuff up. You just can't. We'll come over here. We'll fly over this other section of the field here. And this corn is down over in here as well. You see it? See all the spots that the wind got into, and it kind of whirled it about, and it's knocked some of it down. So there's your rectangular patch right there where it's wet right there. It was all grown up with trees. We took all the trees out, and we can't tile that area or anything because there's no place for it to go. Okay, so you can see that we've got a bin load of corn on, and I've got a little bit of cab corn already as well. I better stop right here, swing the auger out, and we'll wait for the grain buggy to get here. Boy, that tarp is busting out there. So Sarah is just about up to us here. Oh, you can hear a little bit of corn coming out from underneath that tarp. That tarp will hold back a fair amount of corn, but it is stretched to the limit here. and it is sneaking out from underneath it. I could take a piece of flat stock and sandwich the tarp in between the flat stock and the part of the topper itself, and that would keep the corn in place. And you can see that the combine is just black. From when we broke down until now, it had rained, and this corn got real dusty black. Alright folks, so that's just about going to do it for this video. I just thought I'd explain a few things. In no way am I persuading anyone to vote in any one direction. I kind of screwed up. I probably shouldn't have done anything with Trump 2020 in the field like that, and I'm just sharing this video with you just to kind of show you how to do something like that with the corn planter. We've got all this technology that we're using now with this precision ag equipment and stuff like that. Guys that make corn mazes for pumpkin patches and stuff, they have to go in, or they used to go in and mow paths. Now you can make a design with the computer, and if you have the right equipment, your tractor and your corn planter, you can actually get that corn planter to shut off and make an actual corn maze. And I'm gonna get into doing that next year. And hindsight being 2020, I shouldn't have done anything political, because it rubs some people the wrong way. And had I known who the Democratic candidate was actually going to be when I planted the corn, it would have been fair for me to put, Trump and Biden in the same field, and then it wouldn't rub anybody the wrong way. But Biden really wasn't sworn in to be the Democrat candidate until the 19th of July or something. We're going through some pretty tough times right now. I spend more time than most people following politics, and I had a couple of people say to me, "Oh, you're speaking politics. I'm out of here." Well, let me tell you something, folks. Politics, anything and everything we do revolves around politics. Whether you want to believe it or not, politics more or less runs our life on a day-to-day basis. And I understand that some people, it just creates a little bit of tension there. But what's going on right now with Biden, if this information that we're starting to learn right now, if we learn that, or if the Democrat Party learned that back in July, he would not be the Democratic candidate. I guarantee you he would not have been their choice for the Democratic candidate. Now, this information and this stuff that's going on might be wrong. I'm not going to jump to any conclusions, but you have to ask yourself, when you hear something, question it, search it, find out if it's actually true before you go jump into conclusions. I do that all day long. If I hear something, geez, is that really true, or did somebody get the wrong information? Is that actually something they want to believe and they're just pushing it on you? So I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving YouTube or anything. I more or less put that message in the beginning of the video, kind of tongue-in-cheek, like whatever. The whole narrative around politics, Google doesn't really want you to do that kind of thing unless it is left-leaning and whatever. So with that being said, folks, I do want to thank you for watching. No negative comments towards either side. Let's all just agree to disagree, if anything else. And Sarah's coming up on me here now, so I better get back to combining here. So thanks again for watching, folks, and we'll catch you at the next one.